Let's talk about something big. Imagine it's December 18th, 2025, and the US just approved a massive, absolutely record-breaking arms package for Taiwan. Now, this isn't just about selling some hardware. This is a signal, a huge one, that the entire strategy for defending the island is changing. So let's break down what's really going on here. $11.1 billion. Just let that number sit for a second. It's an absolutely staggering figure, totally dwarfing what we normally see in these kinds of deals. You know, a number this big isn't just a budget item, it's a statement of intent. And it really makes you wonder, because what does that historic price tag really get you? This isn't just a transaction. It's a very deliberate, very calculated investment in a whole new way of thinking about defense. So how exactly does this money reshape the entire strategic picture? Okay, so here's our roadmap. We're going to start with the problem that made this necessary, what's called the widening deterrence gap. Then we'll get into the solution, this new playbook of punishment. After that, we'll look at the actual gear, the counter-strike toolkit. We'll touch on the timing, this idea of closing the window, and finally, what it all means for the new calculus of war. All right, so first things first, why this massive check and why right now? Well, it's a direct answer to a very serious problem. The old way of defending Taiwan just isn't going to cut it anymore. For decades, the entire game plan was something called deterrence by denial. The idea was pretty simple, right? Make your coastline a fortress. The goal was to let an invasion force come to you, absorb that first hit, and then beat them right there on the beaches. Deny them even an inch. But here's the catch. That strategy is falling apart. And, don't just take my word for it. This assessment from the U.S. Army War College Press puts it pretty bluntly. That ability has decayed. It's becoming obsolete. And when you look at the numbers, you'll see exactly why. Okay, this chart, this tells the whole story. For the last 20 years, that rapidly climbing bar, that's China's defense spending, has just exploded. And the other bar, the much smaller, almost flat one, that's Taiwan's. The gap between them isn't just a gap anymore, it's a chasm. And that is what military folks call a deterrence gap. So here's the bottom line. When the scales are tipped this dramatically, just sitting back and waiting for an attack on your own home turf becomes an incredibly risky bet. It's a gamble you might not win. So clearly something had to change. A new strategy was needed, and fast. And that brings us to the new playbook. This isn't a small edit. We're talking about a complete rewrite of the rules. It's a fundamental shift from playing defense to being able to punish an attacker. Welcome to deterrence by punishment. The thinking here is totally different. The old strategy was like having a really strong shield. This new one is about showing you have a really, really sharp spear. The goal isn't just to stop an invasion, it's to make the cost of even trying so devastatingly high that an adversary decides it's not worth it. And this slide really nails the difference. The old way was all reactive. You wait, you absorb the first punch, you try to defend the beaches. The new way is proactive. You're not waiting. You're making it clear you have the ability to strike the attacker's own staging areas, to throw a devastating punch right back. Okay, so it's one thing to have a cool new strategy on a whiteboard, but what kind of gear do you actually need to pull it off? That brings us to the really interesting part, the counter-strike toolkit this money buys. Now, you have to understand, this is not a random shopping spree. This is a very carefully selected toolkit. Every single piece in this package is there for a reason, to build a force that is mobile, survivable, and incredibly lethal. And this right here? This is the absolute game changer. 420 ATACMS missiles. Just look at this map. See that little circle around Taiwan's coast? That's the range of their old artillery. Barely reaches offshore. Now look at that huge circle. That's the 300-kilometer range of the ATACMS. It can reach deep into the mainland, hitting ports, air bases, and troop formations. For the first time ever, an invasion force is a target before it even leaves the shore. Of course, those awesome missiles need something to launch them. Enter 82 new mobile HIMARS platforms. Now, why is mobile the keyword here? Because in modern war, if you sit still, you are a target. It is that simple. HIMARS live by the shoot and scoot philosophy. They fire their payload and then they are gone, moving to a new hiding spot before the enemy can even think about firing back. So you can shoot and you can scoot, but what are you shooting at? That's where a cool $1 billion for Altius drones comes into play. Think of them as advanced suicide drones. They create a modern kill chain, a tactic we've seen be brutally effective in Ukraine. The drones are the eyes in the sky, finding enemy ships. They instantly beam that target data back to the HIMARS, which act as the fist. It's a direct, deadly line from identifying a target to destroying it. And finally, for any fighting on the island itself, the package includes 60 M109A7 Paladin howitzers. Why are these so important? Well, just look at the comparison. The old towed guns are slow to set up, and the crews are completely exposed. The Paladin, on the other hand, is armored, it's fast, and it can also shoot and scoot. It all boils down to one crucial word: survivability. Okay, so we've got the new strategy and we've got the new tools, but that still leaves one big question hanging in the air. Why this massive front-loaded package right now? Well, because this is a race against the clock. Back in 2021, top U.S. military leaders started warning about what they call the 2027 window, a target date by which China wants to have the credible military power to take Taiwan. This $11.1 billion package is an urgent, direct attempt to slam that window of vulnerability shut before it can ever truly open. So, just to recap the incredible scale of this thing, we're talking hundreds of long-range missiles, a massive new fleet of mobile launchers, advanced artillery, $1 billion in hunter-killer drones, thousands of anti-tank missiles, the whole shebang. It's a comprehensive toolkit for a whole new way of fighting. So what does this all add up to? What's the real impact? Well, what it does is create a completely new set of calculations for anyone thinking about starting a conflict. I think the best way to say it is this. This package fundamentally shifts Taiwan's defense away from being just a shield meant to absorb a hit and transforms it into a fist that is fully capable of punching back hard. The entire goal here is to raise the price of admission for an invasion so impossibly high that nobody would dare pay it. But that leaves us with one final crucial question. In this new era of proactive defense, of being able to punch back, does that actually guarantee peace? Or does it just change the rules for the war that might still come? And that, right there, is the $11 billion question.